What's happening, everybody? We back. It's your man Dame D NYDC. It's two mics up, and we back in better man with another episode of Two Mics Up Tuesday Blitz. And Sam and I are gonna go ahead and kind of get back into things. I know it's been a while, and right now looks like my brother Sam was having some technical difficulties as he's been traveling on the road. So I'm going to keep chopping it up till he gets back, and looks like he's back better than ever. What's happening, Sarge? How we doing?
What's going on? Some gremlins hit my shit. Like, I don't know what just happened right there. Like, I saw you talking and everything, and I was like, "What's going on?" Like, I lost my audio. That's what happens when you working from a remote location.
Hey, look, man, look. It happens from time to time, and the most important thing, like we were saying backstage, is that you safe, you here. I know we both have been busy. Life has been lifing. Uh, you know,
Definitely been
uh,
wifing.
yeah, it's been lifing. But what's been going on with you, man? As we let some people come in, I see some folks joining us. Hey, let us know where you're joining us from tonight. We got a deep show to get into, but we want to do a little catch up. So, Sam, what you been up to?
As y'all can see, I tore my bicep, so I had some surgery that happened. My son is going into year 3 of college. Next week, my daughter graduates her first phase of
Wow.
advanced individual training over there down in Texas. So we're happy about that and proud of her for her accomplishments so far in the Army Reserve.
That's what's up.
Work, trying to slay through some of these games and everything as far as new releases with video games. So I got a lot on my plate that's coming out, and tweaking and finessing the last bits of my Twitch site too. So OSG is going to be live, Osarge Gaming on Twitch and other streaming platforms. That's going to be dropping real soon. So that's been the major work right now.
And that's what's up, man. Hey, look, like I said, I see people, in the background. Thank you for joining us. Like Sarge said, a lot of life has been lifing, going through some things as well. Daughter getting married, some surgery and some time off, and just trying to get myself, acclimated to being behind the mic. It's been a minute since season 8 finished, and just needed a time to just take a break, just from things. But we back, football is back, and there's been some other things that actually have taken place that I wanted to just kind of chop it up with you and the audience, man. As it relates to one of the things we had talked about, before our little hiatus, we had talked about the BET Awards. And
Yes,
well, now they've been put on hiatus.
yes,
And I think you and I both agreed that the last BET Awards was, in my opinion, if not one of the best, maybe
yes.
the best one that they had. And now that we had this abrupt cancellation with both the BET Awards and the Soul Train Awards, it kind of leaves a void, for the annual recognition of Black artists. And I'm curious, like, one, from your opinion, do you think it was justified? Is this another chop at the visibility of Black entertainment and Black voices in mainstream? Like, where do
Mhm.
you kind of sit with this, Sam?
So let's be clear. It's the BET Hip Hop Awards and the Soul Train Music Awards that have been put on permanent hiatus.
Right,
And how do I feel about that? Well, to start off with, I'll start off with the latter. So I'll do the Soul Train Awards, right?
right.
Um, I feel that um, I'm gonna miss that just for the fact that I felt like with the Soul Train Awards there was a particular type of class that was given during the awards and everything, which I was much appreciative of that. As far as the hip hop awards, I mean, let's just be clear. One, doggone Fat Joe shouldn't be hosting Sugar Honey. Two, you can't have your venue in a goddamn strip club like they did
Mhm.
last year. Three, like I could go on and on, but my other one is like for me, the main reason why I tuned in was because of the ciphers that happened. And
Yeah.
then, like, honestly, I want to say the ciphers kind of fell off between like 2011 and 2013. It took a shift, but that's just because of the culture that we have and
Right.
how
Right.
hip hop has actually progressed. Because, and honestly, like I wasn't looking at like the newer artists that came out because one, it was too much mumble rapping. Half of them, their cadence, they were just repeating the same thing over and over again. So it really wasn't a cipher at that point.
Right.
Two, some of them was just like dancing, and it felt like it was more of a mockery of the cipher than anything. It was more or less exposure for them, but they took away from like the organic or the roots of the cipher, you
Mm.
know. And then four, which makes it even, and I'll put this in the same aspect and scope of the music awards, like, or the Soul Train Awards, which I feel like was kind of the downfall too. Like, if the people that you are giving recognition to don't even show up for the event, it makes it even worse. You know what I'm saying? It kind of takes
Yeah.
away and devalue the whole premise of having these awards because we're over here, we're here to celebrate ourselves. So
Facts.
if I can't, and there was a podcast out there that brought it up too. I think with all the sponsorships and everything that you've been seeing too, it feels like it's watered down, almost like how some of the
Yeah.
leagues that are out there right now. Like,
Yeah.
if I go to a game, I'm going to the game. I don't want to go to a game, and even like the WWE and TKO, like you see all this sponsorship plastered everywhere. It kind of
Hmm.
takes away from the actual event that's happening because you have all this marketing that's going on. So it kind of like dilutes like the whole process and everything. So
I
if
agree.
Beyonce wins an award and Beyonce ain't there, and I know a lot of people out there probably gonna be like, well, she had other shit to do. But here's your own community giving you your flowers, and you can't even be present for this. And the last time that she even won an award, it was like a video of her being remote at a concert somewhere, and that shit could have been
Right.
recorded like a long time ago. You feel me? So
Yeah.
it, like, once again, you're taking away from the pageantry and the elegance that we're supposed to be celebrating. Like, the hip hop awards was just a mockery period. Like, let's
I
just,
agree.
and the Soul Train Award, like, one, like, no disrespect, I can't. This year, the gospel award winner was goddamn Glorilla featuring Kurt Franklin featuring
Franklin. Right.
Glorilla.
Go.
Like,
Right.
fam, like, make that make sense for me, bro. Like, what are we doing right now?
Right. Yeah. Look. I couldn't agree with you more, man. I think what up, Shorty? It's all facts.
Yeah,
With all of that, it's really hard, because like I said, for me is with everything going on in the world, this is another strike at our voice, right?
yeah,
At our having a platform, for us that's supposed to be by us. But then, like you just said, some of the things just it doesn't make sense. They don't jive the categories, the awards, the award
hmm,
winners. Something
yeah,
like it just doesn't make sense. So now to have it canceled or suspended indefinitely, uh, half of me, I'm like you, like, are we really going to miss it? But I know you and I may be a little bit more in an advanced age
right,
where it may not hold the same weight to you and I, but there is a large, swath of our culture that really is really into the award shows and the ceremony and some of the pageantry. And like I said, we talked about it earlier. This year, I thought was like I said, if it wasn't one of the best, definitely the best, just
yeah,
in the presentation and the way that we really showed out and showed up in class,
yeah,
not in ass. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it really was to me a great show. But I don't know where we go and like where do you see or how do you see us rebounding? Like, is there other ways? I mean, because even like you mentioned, like even with Beyonce and some of the more notable artists, even you hear like even on the concert trails, like people are seem like they're disengaging. and
Right.
unplugging from it. So like, where do you see a rebound or somewhere where we're still able to have our highlight on our shows in the future?
That's tough because everything falls under the Viacom umbrella right now,
Mm,
and
mm,
that's what's going to make it difficult if if
mm.
Viacom don't
Good point.
see it profitable. And that's what they said. They were like moving forward, like we're not going to see it on TV for a while. They're talking about moving it to some of their streaming platforms. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll see it on Paramount Plus. Maybe we'll see it on BET Plus. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, but the only way the only the only way that I see them bringing it back, well, one, it has to mean something. So for me, it would still have to stay on like basic cable. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
mm,
That's going to be the first thing.
mm.
Two, I think that they're going to need a production crew and like a director that's going to come in and take the reins and
Yeah,
bring some of that class and pageantry back. Because honestly, like for me, the downfall was when I knew that we weren't going to see it much longer once I saw that damn sexy red over here twerking with a band in her hands right next to Bobby Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like once I saw that, and I was like, this is over with. Like,
yeah, yeah.
and what makes it worse is that you have like all these prestigious people that will still attend it, like be right up front in that front row. So it made it seem even more embarrassing, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean, you would they need the right production. Now, I brought up a good point.
yeah. I
That
want to get
like
to that.
every once in a while, like somebody mic goes out. You know what I'm saying? There's
The
some pitch
sound, the
off.
production is
Yeah,
terrible.
everything just be like ate up with it. So like that's what I'm saying. Like you need a crew. I'm not saying that you need like Oscar or Emmy awarding crew, but
Right.
you need a solid core that's going to
Dedicated.
bring us something that's deliverable. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Bring us
yeah,
something that's going to leave that statement that's going to make us want to see it next year. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
stop with all
I
these
agree.
bits and quips and all that stuff. Like I said, it's been really watered down and devalued. And like you said, like I appreciated Kevin Hart hosting it. I like the rules that they pulled out. Like we were trying to bring the class back. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But apparently it was to the point that it was too late. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? And the viewership could have went down maybe because, like you said, we're cut from a different cloth. So, this could be something that the younger generation like they didn't care for that stuff. You
Yeah,
know, so
and I think that's what it is. Like, say, just what Anna said. That's for me. Like, for me, I guess my cloth. Like, I can't sit and listen and watch through something that is just horrible.
yeah,
And like she says, throughout the years that it's been done, I'm pretty sure that complaint has probably come up more than not. And
hmm,
for them not to invest in better live production, in presentation, audio for those who are at home who don't have the pleasure, because I'm pretty sure it probably sounds great uh live and in person, but for
yeah,
those who are getting feedback, you know invest in something that I'm pretty sure, like you say, they've had to hear multiple times. And like I said, I'm not an I don't watch award shows a lot, greatly due to that reason. But I do feel we are being short-sighted and being short-changed
yeah,
on the talent that we have as a community and a culture. So I hope that they do, one, when they do bring it back. One, I hope they're not trying to break people's pockets. Like
hmm,
you said, by moving this through some type of streaming or
hmm,
Peacock or Netflix type deal. That really takes away, and I'm pretty sure that'll probably turn more people off.
yeah,
Exactly, Anna. And I think I hope that's not the vision, because I don't really think that's the move. But I'm going
hmm,
to pray for the best, and I'm going to
yeah,
hope that we can all find a middle ground that's feasible for everybody.
yeah. Because we're running out of spaces.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
Basically,
what
we're
I'm
running out of
saying?
space.
That and like honestly, BET was like the last stand. So like
Yeah,
once we lose that, then it's
Right.
like, where do we go from there? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because everything else is becoming minute. Like, you
Yeah.
don't see the Jets. Essence is a debauchery right now. You know, and eventually we're going to end up talking about that. You know what I'm saying? But all the resources that we once had, they come far and few in between. So like, something has to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to open with that because I mean, it's definitely like hashtag oh damn it's Tuesday. And that's what it kind of felt like starting with this. And I was sitting down, preparing for this, and there were some food influencers who are pretty well known, and they were
Mhm.
sitting down, having a burger and preparing, a video to do on set and bring to us. And it's like oh damn.
Bro.
Bruh. I don't even know. I don't even know how that shit happens. But like, yo, his face said it all. And I was like, this is just like perfect to kind of fit into this segment. Like, could you even imagine being somewhere, one with your friends or your family, and something like this happens?
No, absolutely not. Hey, look, I peed a little just looking at that video because that would have been my reaction if I was sitting down and knowing that there was a call right there. Like, that's crazy right there.
Listen, man.
I just saw that
Prayerfully,
video today too, by the way. Like, that was
right. It was just one of those, you're sitting around and you're looking at videos and like, well, damn, it's Tuesday, and that was
Mhm.
like the first video that popped up, and I was like, I had to share that because it's wild out here. I mean, you're not even safe sitting down enjoying the meal. So everybody be safe out there. All of our influencers and our content creators that are doing things differently. Don't sit by the window maybe it's wild out there right now, you know what I'm saying? Yes sir, what's happening, brother? Thank you for joining us tonight, bro. But we're going to transition, and before I transition into tonight's football commentary, because we got to go deep, I want to shout out our sponsors over at Chico Rico Hot Sauce. Listen, if you guys are like me and you like spicy food, make sure that you go out and get yourself, an order. They got a 3-pack of, Tico Rico hot sauce, man. Set your taste buds on fire with a sauce that's all about the heat and flavor, all handcrafted with fresh homegrown peppers and 100% natural ingredients. Tico Rico hot sauce is the perfect blend, not only for that kick and taste, but it'll keep you coming back for more. So go ahead and check them out online, and go ahead and support, man. It's black owned. They're doing big things, and I'm just proud to have them as a partner and a friend and family, extended family, and all that. Yeah, we good. We happy to see you, Ronell. And yet, tell them, Shorty, best hot sauce out there on the market, and it's mustard based. So for those of you who believe hot sauce should be red, got something different for you. Go check it out. Uh, but I want to thank them for being tonight's show sponsor. And we're gonna jump into it, Sam. We got to start in the NFC, right? Without question, the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending
Right.
Super Bowl champs. Now, I have a couple of questions that I have to start with when we kind of look at them, and we're going to start in my NFC East. Like,
Okay.
what do you see when you look at them? Any players specific on offense or defense that we should be paying attention to, and what do you see, as their record as they move into the 2025 and 2026 season?
Oh man. All right. Big three. You got Jalen Hurts as your QB. Can
Mm-hmm.
he keep that streak going? Can Saquon repeat or get remotely
Mm,
close to the performance that he had last season?
that part.
And then who is going to be your number one receiver? Because there's been some challenge. Well, not necessarily challenges, but AJ Brown been going through some things during the
Yep.
offseason and everything. Towards the end of last season, even going into the Super Bowl, it kind of was a roller coaster for him. So is it going to be him? Is it going to be Swift, or are we going to have somebody come up? And then I'll throw this subside. So fourth one, can that defense still be that? Because I used to call them the Philadelphia Bulldogs, since they have so many players from Georgia, on that roster. Can they sit here and continue to be the heartbeat, and be that defensive, apply that pressure like they did last year? I do see them on top in the NFC East. I'll. Ooh, I'm looking at like a 13-4, type of season for them. But I do feel that I don't know, because you got that Terry McLaughlin situation, but Washington could give them a run for their money. The Commanders, but I mean, either way it goes, Philly, and like I said last year, you know what I'm saying, when we were talking about another team, and in order to beat a man,
That's
you
right.
gotta beat. What I'm saying? So they're the ones who's running things right now. So, I do see them, taking the NFC East again this year.
So I'm going to agree with you. As this segment is being brought to you by 94 Media House. Uh, I was sitting down talking with some people, and I happened to be out today, out and about, and a lot of people that are non-Eagle fans, they're still bashing Jalen Hurts, about him being a better passer. And my thing is, well, why does he have to be a better passer if you haven't been able to stop what he's done? I mean, he's been to the Super Bowl twice already, and he's won. So what he's doing works within their system. So to me, it's not about him being a better passer. I think it's still about him being able to make the plays when it's required for him to pass. And you said it, or off the top of the break, with him, Saquon, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. If that defense shows up and it's remotely anywhere near what it was last season, you have to, like you say, you got to beat the man. And they are still, to me, the cream of the crop in the NFC. They're definitely the cream of the crop in my division. And like you said, 13-3. I see them going 12-5. I'm throwing in a game, injury, whatever it may be. You got to add that in. But they are still the cream of the crop. I don't see anyone in our division, even the Commanders, which we're going to talk about. I think there's a lot of trouble on the front here, on the home front. You hear different things going on, with that squad, with Terry McLaughlin. Now Brian Robinson looks like he's going to be on the trade block. They got some young guys there, but let's talk about them. Let's transition, to the Commanders. Like, break that down. What do you see, coming from them, this year in the NFC East?
I mean, they did add a lot of weapons defensively, because you got Von Miller. And it's weird seeing him on the sidelines. And I haven't realized that he became the traveling man over the past, like 5 years or something like that. It's like, let me try Super Bowl here. And if it don't, oh shit, well, let me go over here. You know what I'm saying? One minute he's in Buffalo, the next thing you know, he's in LA, now he's in Washington. He was down south somewhere. So, but I think with his leadership, and I kind of feel like that's one of the things that they've been lacking, because they picked up Wagner last year. So I think it was Wagner that they picked up on the defensive side. But just having these two voices, I think it's more of a presence defensively. There are a lot of questions on offense. So, and it's like the more you sit here and you think about it, like it's scary, because if they lose their number one running back and their number one receiver, you know what I'm saying? And it's no shade against Zach Ertz, but like, it's kind of like really all the prowess that you have right there on doggone offense. So it's like, who is Jaden going to lob the ball to? And I just don't want him to get hurt and, sit there and take more risk. As far as their season, yeah, I see them 10-7. I was looking at their schedule earlier. What's going on, Rem? Yeah, I'm back at it again tonight, bro. But I see it. I do think until they sit here and get that offense, somebody got to be happy.
Somebody got
What
to be,
I'm
yeah.
saying? I think that they can make do without Robinson, but they're going to need McLaughlin. They're going to need Terry. But you have two unsatisfactory key weapons, so it's like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
If they could get them on board, then I see them 11-6, maybe 10-7. But if not, then they're going to be mid-tier. I still think that they're going to do well. No, I ain't going to throw no shade right now. But I got the jersey that you had on right now.
Hey,
I know that they're going to be better than the Cowboys. I will say that much.
Okay, we're agreeing. We are agreeing. We are agreeing in that.
Definitely
on that
be
point.
better. If there's any Cowboy fans out there, 2 middle fingers.
Yeah,
I don't care. Yeah,
guns up. Yeah, I'm with you.
That's not even my division, but I would say that in advance. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, and we're in the same space. I think we're looking at the Commanders this year. One, does Jaden hit that sophomore slump, or does he continue on the trajectory that we've seen from last year? We've seen what happened with CJ Stroud. He hit that wall. Boo the Cowboys. Yeah, they can get 2 guns up, far as I'm concerned. But can he do that? And I think the Deebo Samuel's acquisition was a great move. But now, like you said, with Terry, I think there's a huge drop off after those 2 gentlemen in their receiving core. Now, again, we're talking about what we see on paper, and just looking at it. And the same thing, I think, in the running back game, they got the 2 young guys coming, but Brian Robinson was the hammer, hitting between the tackles. He was that go-to guy. So I think there's a drop off, and I agree with you. 10-7, as if, and I'm just saying, if they're without those 2 guys, 10-7, and potentially 9-8. But I feel solid at 10-7, with all those things going right. And when I look at them, defensively, I think their secondary, to me, still needs some work. They got Frankie Louisville and that front line that's been pretty stout. But I think that back end, I'm still a little nervous about that. I don't see them as being a solid unit. But it's a long season, and you got a long time to tinker and get things right. But I think 10-7, we both agree on. And then we're going to transition to the Cowgirls. Like, boo-hoo the Cowgirls and everything that they're bringing, because it's a hot ass mess down in Dallas, like it always is. And when we look at them, Jera is out there being Jera, because when I look at them offensively, we're back at revamping, their run game, which I think they're going to need. You got CeeDee Lamb out there, and they got Pickens, but I think they need that run game to really help balance them, and I just don't see that yet. And then the same thing on defense. If Micah Parsons goes, or he holds out, how much of an impact to Dallas is that going to be? Because I mean, let's just call it what it is. Micah is a great talent, and I think a lot of times, just being a person who's played sports, when you have a player who you kind of know is the guy, other guys tend to pick up their play. But if he's not there, that leaves a void. And I think some other guys may not play up, not to their potential, but play as hard or play, to the scheme if Micah's on the field. So I think that's a huge void, for them moving forward. And I got them going 8-9 this year, and I'm being generous. I'm being generous. Yeah. What's your take?
Like I said, I feel like they're going to be scraping the barrel, because honestly, and this is like, if I'm keeping it in the bean, like there were no improvements defensively, especially in their secondary.
True.
There's no changes from that. So honestly, and you saw the frustration that Micah had on field last year. You know what I'm saying? So basically, you bring in that same scheme and those same players, that same defense back up here for a new season, and there's no improvements. Secondary is trash, and I'm just going to put it out there. Like I see him going like 6-10. You know what I'm saying? Like something is, and I really feel like it's going to be like the color purple, like until you do right by me. So something needs to happen to Jerry Jones in order for him to leave that organization, because he's really, I think it's more like the Cowboys is becoming just like entertainment right now. You know what I'm saying? There's no real substance behind them to make you feel like they're a prominent team. So like, you know, is Dak going to, like, when are we going to see the real Dak? If they make it to the playoffs, like, are we going to finally get over that hump? You know, do you feel like there's enough weapons offensively? Because we already said about defense. Do you think that there's enough weapons offensively for them to get past somebody? Yeah. I don't care who it is. The first round in the playoffs, and right now the answer is no. And Dallas is kind of to the point now. I feel like Dallas is like LeBron. LeBron is at that point that he peaked. Don't nobody want to come and play with him. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what don't nobody want to go to Dallas. You know, that's that star that's been this fixture. You know, as America's team, don't nobody want to go there. You know what I'm saying? I can sit here and I can be great in all these different locations. I don't need to go to Dallas. You know, it doesn't have that shine like it used to, like Bama. You know, from a collegiate level. I don't need to go to Bama now because everybody making money. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to ride. Nick Saban isn't there. You know, so that lackluster is gone. That's how the Cowboys is now. That lackluster is more of a mockery and a joke than, like, you know.
Look, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, Mike McCarthy. He's on the chopping block too. Don't let me forget Mike McCarthy.
Look, he should have been fired. But you know, I mean, a long time ago, and then to bring in what was Schottenheimer's kid.
Yeah, Schottenheimer.
Yeah. I'm like, come on, man, stop it. Like, this is not. Yeah. There's no improvement.
It's like I said, it's like that running joke that we've been having since like '97. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ever since they won their last Super Bowl in '96, like they just been this running joke that's just getting exhausted now. So like I really don't. I don't see much progress from last year.
Let's take it easy on the running joke, because I know what a running joke is, and if I'm going to be a buck and a bean, you know, it really sits where V says, V, that's where we're going, because the running joke has been in the Meadowlands. It's been in my.
I like this one up, bro. Not your team, but that question that also V's just put right there. I'm gonna light that shit up, but I'm gonna let you go.
And we're gonna get to that, because that's where it all starts. And I'm gonna let you. Because I know you have deep passion. No, I'm gonna let you start with that, because that's a great question. But I'm gonna let you, because you and I feel the same way. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. So let's peel the onion back to 2020, 2024, right? And me and you had a conversation up here. And Russell was with the Steelers, right?
Yeah.
And somebody brought up how successful Russell Wilson was at the time, what he led them to. And I was like, well, let's peel the onion back, because doggone, what was it, Trey Lance?
Trey Lance, yep.
Trey Lance had it going on prior to, and then he took the reins. But then we looked at the strength of schedule when he went on that little run. When Russell went on that little run, it was like scrub teams. You know what I'm saying? It was the Browns, the Jets, the Jags. It was everyone that had a sub 500 doggone record.
Yep.
I just don't know. We've been saying this about Russell for a long time, because when he was in Denver, he wasn't shit. Let's just be honest.
Be honest. Yep.
And he came over there and he moved the doggone the Steelers, and he
wasn't shit.
He dropped off a cliff. We didn't even know what happened.
No parachute, no nothing.
Look, Hey, look, they were making a run. Everybody was getting gassed up. We were about to go on the playoffs, and then they boloed
Nope.
against the Browns or something like that. Like that shit whimpered like so quick. I don't know. And then like I'm rooting for him, but like let's get it straight. Old Dart over there, he looking kind of clean. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, do I want to
Man,
sit here and put this rookie in the fire? Do I want to take a chance
man.
like a lot of these other teams with your Jaden Daniels, with your Devin Lewis or Tua, or like it was some like you,
Mm.
and I think that's unfortunate that we don't give some of these young quarterbacks, you know, time to grow. I know some of them do have that caliber, like they ready.
Yeah.
But honestly, at this point, I think I might take Dart over starting, but I just don't want to put him in that. I wouldn't want to jeopardize Dart's career early.
Thank
You know
you.
what I'm saying? But I just
Thank
don't. But at the same time, with Devil's Advocate, I don't trust for your team and Alta V's and anybody else that's a Giants fan. I don't trust Russell Wilson as my number one QB, which he's probably going to end up being. I just don't trust him. You know what I'm saying? Like it's preseason right now, so like he's going to go up against like some second and third string, you know, defenses.
He's
But when he has to run through the gauntlet,
no,
you know
he's
what
not
I'm
the
saying?
guy.
Yeah, he's not that guy.
He's not the guy. So listen, all right. There's only one thing that Russell Wilson can still do fairly well, and that's throw the deep ball. That's the only thing that he still has left in his arsenal.
Right.
So you're
That's
only
what
going to
you
run.
too if we keeping it funky though.
And now let's be honest. Now we're in the Meadowlands where that wind swirls, right?
Yeah.
So that becomes a duck in the Meadowlands, right? And you know, Malik Neighbors, Hyatt, Wandale Robinson, Slayton, they can only run so many go routes in a game before getting burnt out. Okay. So let's just stop right there. And like you said, we seen him in Denver, straight trash. We seen him in Pittsburgh, more hot garbage. So now we're going to bring it to the Meadowlands, which already it stinks.
Yeah.
And we're going to have this guy take control of our offense. Like, okay, let's get past the glory. I do not want to shit on Russell's career. I was a fan and I am a fan. And let's just call it what it is. Now, I would have preferred, and again, I'm not crazy about it, but I would have ate some W's with Jameis as the bridge guy, because at some point, Dart is going. He's going to play.
Yeah,
he's going to play.
The question is when.
You called it. It's when, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like you. I would prefer it be later in the season when we clearly know that we are automatically out of the hunt. You know, whether that be week 8, week 9, whatever it's going to be, he's going to play. But like you said, I do not want to see his career ended before it starts.
Right.
So I get it. I get the gamble. I would have rather, like I said, though, gambled on Jameis. He's a little bit younger, you know, and he's got a little bit more, I think, in the tank than Russell at this time, and get you know Dart those reps and those repetitions, watching, understanding the game speed. Like you said, it's preseason. He's looked great. He's looked great. But we said the same thing about Danny Dimes, and we see how that turned out. So let's groom this young man. Let's wait till later in the season. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Amongst all things with the Giants, that's the biggest problem. I think defensively, we have some players, you know, that are going to surprise people. We know about Dexter Lawrence. I think Thibodeau is going to come back with a bounce back season because injuries and everything else slowed him down last year. There's going to be a couple of surprise guys back on the defensive secondary side that I think is going to surprise people. And I think early on, we're going to be able to keep games tight. But again, we don't have a dominant, you know, I love our running backs, but they're too small. I'm just going to call it what it is. They're too small.
Yeah.
And when the game's on the line, if Russell has to make plays, he's going to poop his pants. And I'm looking at this season. I want it to be, you know, I listen to all of the experts, ESPN and all these, you know, the Giants are going to be better than what people think. They might win 6, 7 games. I'm a realist. I know trash. I say 4-13. 4-13 this year because our schedule is not. It is just not.
I mean,
it's not.
Y'all
It's
going
not
y'all,
feasible.
y'all going through the gauntlet early too.
That's what I'm saying. It's early, and that's going to knock the wind. And that's what I'm saying. It's going to knock the wind out of the sails of our team. And like I said, it could be week 8 or 9 that I'm penciling Dart in to be the starter for the rest of the season. And again, the problem is with that, we still haven't figured, in my opinion, our O-line. He's going to get killed, and I don't want to kill his confidence. So I'd rather that happen later in the season, and we prepare for next year. So, look, Giants fans, hopefully the Yankees will get their shit together, and we'll have something to do in October. Basketball will be back, and we can get back on the Knicks, and you can put this jersey in the closet because that's what I'm going to do. Just keep it at a beat.
Yeah.
Real quick, let's jump to your division. Let's jump to the North, man. Probably the best division in the NFL, in my opinion, last season. I think there's still a lot going on. But let's start there with the Detroit Lions, who really kind of ramped things up and really kind of took things to the next level last season. What do you see from with Detroit this year?
I don't know. It's tricky because they lost a lot of coaches. I mean, they lost one in Chicago. They lost another one to New York. I forgot. It was about 3 coaches that are gone now. I think offensively, they still have everyone. But Jared Goff is getting a little bit older. So we have to see how that pans out. However, with that being said, hates for me to say this. I do see them. They have the potential to sit here and continue to lead the NFC North. And there's going to be a couple of reasons why that I'm going to get into. But can they stay healthy, though? Because they lost 50% of their defense last year.
And Hutchinson,
if not more, that really killed them towards the tail end. If they would have had their starting defensive players in the playoffs last year, I don't think we would have had the turnout that we did when the Commanders came over there and played them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But because they're so hurt with the injuries that they had throughout the season, I mean, they were dropping people since preseason when it came to doggone injuries and everything, and they never excuse me, it never slowed down. So if they can stay healthy this year, then they go just like we were talking about the Rams before last year too, when they turned it around towards the season. It was just the fact, but they got healthy, those last 3-4 games that we saw, rolling into it. It didn't stop for Detroit. So if they can stay healthy this season, then I see them back on top as far as leading the NFC North, leading the division as a whole. So they're going to be, of course, they're going to be that team everybody's going to be looking out for. But the question is, how much of an impact as far as the defensive coach that they lost and their defensive coordinator, how much of an impact is that going to have? The head coach, is he going to sit here and continue to doggone take these gambles and risk on these 4th down situations? Or are we going to start playing a lot more better smart ball, with it? Are they still going to come out with the trickery, that they had last season? Or
he's Riverboat Ron's brother.
Sit here and be a little bit more strategic and play smash mouth ball.
Look, I agree with you in everything you said. I think it all falls down on Jared Goff, the skill players, and defensively. What with Aaron Glenn now being in New York, how does that defense, the secondary specifically, show up? For this season. I agree with you too. I still think they're the cream of the crop in the NFC North. I got them at 12-5 as well. I just don't see too much because I think there's a drop off, and I think some of the other teams, when I look at Minnesota, with the change of quarterback with McCarthy, I think there's a huge drop off from that magical run that they had last year. 14 wins. I got them more around 6 or 7 wins just on quarterback play, the unknown. And the same thing with Chicago. I think Chicago was overhyped when it kind of comes to them, and we're going to talk about them. But I think Detroit is the cream of the crop. But I think I want to let you talk about your Packers, because I think your Packers are really on their heels, man. I there's a lot of good things that I've seen and I see just from the preseason, where like they've kind of retooled, and they can give. I really believe, barring injuries, especially like to Jordan Love and some of the other guys, uh, they
Yeah,
can really make a run at the North. And I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that.
they can, but we didn't do anything in our secondary, which has
Mm,
been our it's been our Achilles for a while. Injuries been plaguing us too for the past couple of years too, but what it really boils down to is for I offensively, I think we're good. We have a solid O line. You got Brandon Jacobs, you got Musgrave and Kraft over there as far as your tight ends. I'm glad that we finally phased out of the Christian Watson era of him being the number one receiver, because he's just not reliable. I mean, I'm just gonna
yeah,
keep it funky right there. Like,
that
I,
dude hurt all the time.
it's like as soon as he take a fly route and go straight down, like next thing you know, he's gone, and then he's gone for like multiple weeks and everything, and you
Yeah,
doing all this huffing and puffing, like you should be our number one, but you ain't. I mean, we got
yeah,
Dobbs, we got Melton, we got Golden now, which
yeah.
hook him for one, so hook him horns. So I'm glad that he came over there and he's on the team too. So like offensively, I think we're straight. Defensively, I always loved our front seven. I would boast and talk about them all the time. So I always give them credit and props. But like we've lost a lot in our secondary. We have Jahir is gone. We
Yeah.
have Ballantyne back. However, like at the start of preseason, we already had two injuries in the secondary. I am glad that I think it's Melton who's moved over from wide
Wide
receiver
receiver.
to
Yeah.
to the secondary,
Yep.
and Matt LaFleur came over there and gave him a whole bunch of props and everything. I'm not going to shit on my folks. Of course, I want us to be number one. But it's just so much that's my biggest question. Are we going to stay healthy? What is the secondary going to do?
Yeah.
I will like to see us go like 12-5 or something like that. Realistically, I could see us. Um, I mean, I could see us 11-6. But our strength of schedule is still pretty heavy. Like
Yeah.
our strength of schedule is high up, and plus, we have to go to Detroit. Detroit has to come to us. We
Yep.
didn't do so hot against Detroit last year.
Yep.
I think we were 1-1 with them. We were 1-1 with Chicago.
Chicago.
We
Yep.
shouldn't have lost that second game, and then I think were we 0-2 against Minnesota last year?
Minnesota. I think Minnesota kind of gave you out a lumber last year.
Yeah, both times.
Yeah.
So, and that's my thing too. Green Bay got to stop taking their foot off the gas the second quarter. We have like a
Agreed.
really competitive first half. You know what I'm saying? And we look like we run in the table, and then the second half come to play, and it's like we forgot offensive plays. We don't know what we're doing, and the defense keep on running the same doggone scheme. So like if we're gonna put our boot to Nick, then that we have to do that like continuously. So that's another Achilles that we have too.
Listen, I just love the realization of it all. It don't get no realer than that. That's just one of those where you just speaking on it like, yo, you got to look around, man, and really put in that work. But I think it's going to be different for you guys this year. And I don't mean to gloss over, Chicago. I don't see the hype like everyone else does. I just don't. Caleb Williams and everything that they've thrown out there. I just think is something is not clicking. I don't know if it's from the coaching staff to the players, the execution. Like there's something that I just don't get with Chicago. I was again happened to be watching the news, and a couple of people had Chicago going to the NFC Championship game, and I'm like, bruh, what are y'all smoking? Like it doesn't. I mean, look, I know the NFL, it flips and flops and changes from year to year, but I'm like, NFC Championship? Like, what are you looking at that I don't see? So I just don't buy it. And like I said, Minnesota is gonna no parachute off the cliff. Uh, it's going to be growing pains with AJ McCarthy. It's more of a 5-12, 6-11 season because I mean they still
Mm,
have Justin Jefferson. They've always had a pretty solid run game. Their defense
yeah,
has always been kind of middle of the road, but I just don't see much. I don't see that Cinderella year from either of those teams moving
right.
forward. So I really believe it's this Green Bay and Detroit in the North this year, fighting it out. And when we look at the other two conferences, and I hate to, I don't mean to belittle either conference, but uh, when I look specifically at the South, it's really only one team, in my opinion, coming out of the South, and that's Tampa Bay. I mean, who would ever thought that
Yeah,
Baker freaking Mayfield would be leading a high-powered passing attack? I mean, and then they got not only Mike Evans, they got two running backs that are solid. They got this young kid, Emeka Egbuka, that's going to be running the slot now. Uh, to me, their pass rush has improved. Uh, I give them like a 10-7 because it is the South and it is still
right.
Baker Mayfield. But I mean, like, how do you feel about the Bucks and the rest of the South? Because New Orleans quarterback problems, they're just unspectacular. I mean, I don't even know what to think. I think Carolina might be a surprise, though. I think they're going to be better than what they were. Uh, and Atlanta's Atlanta. But what's your
Right.
take on the South?
No, I agree with you too. I see 10-7 coming out of Tampa Bay too. I mean, they showed real potential last season, and I always felt like Baker just needed to be in the right program. If I'm
Mm,
being honest,
mhm,
you
mhm.
know what I'm saying, and that's what he inherited moving down there.
Yeah,
So, and he had that opportunity, and he's running with it. Um, like you said, with doggone Atlanta, Carolina, and New Orleans is just like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
yeah,
if
yeah.
it hits, it hits. I am kind of excited to see what Michael Penix going to do as QB down
Hmm.
in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Um, I have given up all hope and what's my man name? Michael Pitts.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we can move past that project. Yeah,
I had so much, I was rooting for him. I've been rooting for him for a long time, and he just
time to move
hasn't
past that
delivered. So
project. Yeah,
it's been very disheartening. So yeah, but I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. Like I do see some growth with Carolina, but as far as New Orleans, like you said, it's like a three-man QB carousel with some folks that shouldn't be QB. They shouldn't be
yeah,
QBing right now.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm
New York
saying?
South. Yeah, it's New York South. Exactly. Yeah, it's New York South all day long, all day long, bro. That's exactly what it is.
I don't know what's
They're just
happening
running
over
that.
there, man, but yeah, but we'll see. And just to circle back a little bit with what you said with Chicago, like I think this week's performance or last week's performance that Caleb had gave people that glimmer of hope. But like, let's don't forget, like he was going up against like a third string
Thank you,
doggone defense. He was going
thank
up
you.
against players that were still trying to prove something. He wasn't
Trying to make the
going
squad.
up against. Yeah, he wasn't going up against the. They trying to make the practice squad at least to get that, get that 100 down,
Exactly.
for the season. So like, let's keep that in mind. So I
Please.
am impressed with some of the moves that they did, especially on the offensive side, investing in the O line and everything.
Right.
But it's still levels to it, and it's still going to be growing pains for him. So I do agree with you on that
Yeah.
one.
I'm not buying. I'm not buying the paper towels coming out of Chicago right now. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. And we're gonna move out west because we talked heavy about the Rams, and
Mhm.
I'm stuck at a point right now, and this is the big if. Just heard on the
Yeah.
news that Matt Stafford's got the back injury,
Yes.
which as a quarterback, well, hell, anybody or any player, that can be a huge concern. And we
Mhm.
don't know the depths or the level to which his back is really affecting him and could
Mhm.
affect him throughout the season. And
Right.
they have what's his name, Stetson, who uh I mean, he's been a very serviceable backup quarterback, but I think without Stafford being at the helm, it really impacts the probability or potential of the Rams. And
Yes.
just based on that, originally I had them going like 11 and 6, 12 and 5. I want to have them at 9 and 8. Only because I mean that quarterback position plays such a huge role
Yeah.
and what things happen. And on the flip side, I mean, and again in the West, I think it's only really a two-team race. The San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
You know, Brock Purdy has kind of proved himself to a degree. They seem, no Debo, but they always seem to have a balanced and versatile attack when healthy.
Yeah.
McCaffrey and all these other guys. I mean, they've been decimated with injuries for the last couple of seasons, but they
Yeah.
still have a pretty solid. I almost want to say elite, but they're a solid front seven. I'll put it to you
Mhm.
that way.
Yeah.
And I think they're still dangerous. So with that, I would have to give them a 10-7 run and taking the division this year. And when I look at the other two teams, your favorite short quarterback, he's still out there in the desert.
Inside
Yeah,
private eye.
yeah, Kyler Murray. But I mean,
Mhm.
again, when I look at them though, and we talked about it last year, I think they have some talent, man. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. Out there, Connor, James Conner. He doesn't get a lot of run as a running back, but he's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
You put in that work when
McBride,
he's healthy.
when
When
he's
he's
healthy,
healthy.
when
Yeah.
he's healthy. McBride at the tight end. I think it's just I don't know. Kyler Murray just doesn't move the needle for me, and you could talk about it when you get a chance. Like, do we move on from that project now? We've seen enough of it, and is it time to move on from Kyler? And Seattle is taking a total reverse with Sam Damn Darnold. I don't know if he's the answer at quarterback. The secondary is terrible. I got them at the bottom of the heap,
Right.
going 5-12. So I'm curious to hear your breakdown on the West.
No, oh man, like we hyped up the turnaround that the Rams had at the end of the season to even push themselves into the playoffs.
Yeah, we did.
Um, and it does hurt to hear the injuries that Matt Stafford is going through. So I know it is a toss up between Stetson and Jimmy G. I think
Yep.
the
And he
two
looked bad.
backups.
He looked bad. He looked real bad. He looked bad.
Yeah, but that's my issue. Like Stetson, where was he? Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Like, and don't get me wrong, Cincinnati is a good squad, but you had Joe Cool there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even when Joe Burrow got hurt, like Stetson wasn't doing what the hell he was supposed to be doing. I think it's unfortunate with Garoppolo just for the fact that I still think that there's some what is it?
Think,
I
you
think it's
think
more or less of like PTSD of everything that he's been through with
mm,
his leg injury. Because even when
could
he
one.
went back, he went back to San Fran. He was okay. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you. If there's no Matt Stafford, there's going to be it, we're not looking at the Rams the same,
Yeah.
like how we
Totally.
were
Totally.
expecting them to be. So
Totally.
that just leaves us with San Fran. So the question is exactly how healthy San Fran is going to be, because just like how we were talking about with Detroit, like when you talk about a team depleted with doggone injuries, San Fran was right up there too.
Yeah.
Because I felt like they lost like everybody.
Everybody. I mean, they've been decimated, man. These last couple of years have been
Yeah, minus
horrible out
Brock
in the
Purdy.
Bay. Yeah,
Brock
it's
Purdy
been
was the only
horrible.
one who kind of was standing on top this season, but it was like everyone else, like it was bad. So it's like
Yeah.
they're really the only team that you got to look forward to. See, Seattle is like in a forever rebuilding process right now,
Yeah.
and like you said, like it's kind of like I want to root for Kyler Murray with Marvin Harrison Jr. because I do think that's a really good 1-2 punch. But they still have a lot of questions, at least for me, defensively, that I don't think that
Yeah.
they've answered yet. So
Agreed.
realistically, I'll go with San Fran. Um, I'll go with 11-6 season for San Fran, but we're probably and that could change. You know what I'm
It
saying?
could
Like I
change,
said,
right? Right.
because I mean, Matt Stafford came back to practicing this week.
Yeah.
But it's like, is he going to be ready? And if so, like, how long is it going to take him to get, back in that groove? So if we could sit here and have the Matt that we had last year, or even like 80-90%, then I see them
Right.
taking with like a 12, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I
like a
agree.
12-5 season.
I agree. Like I say, it all hinges on what happens with, in my opinion, with Matt Stafford,
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and his health and how he's able to manage that is going to be the key. So we've conquered the NFC. So now it's time for us to go ahead and jump in to the AFC conference, and I'm gonna turn it over to you, Sam,
Hmm.
and let you start in the AFC, and kind of give everybody a rundown on what you see with the AFC. Let's start out in the AFC East, and give it a rundown on what you see coming out of the AFC East.
Oh man, let me pull it. Hold on, let me pull up my copious notes. Give me just a moment. Let me go ahead and grab these joints. We said the AFC East, right? Let me see. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. So with the East, I have. Let me make sure I get my teams right. Oh yeah. You know what? You know who my Nick? Oh man. Okay. So who? All right. Let me get my composure back. The AFC as a whole. I always had like two issues, right?
Yep.
So my first one is going to be with the Bills. I've been talking about the Bills and Josh Allen, and he's pretty much became my brand new like dad man.
He sure
But
did.
like, what is it going to take for Josh Allen to get over that hump? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Is he going to be able to beat the perennials of the AFC as far as Patrick Mahomes and Otto? As well as, damn, you did a wardrobe change on me.
Hey, I'm in the AFC. I'm in the AFC now. I had to.
He threw me for a loop right there. I'm like, damn, what the hell happened?
Yep. Yep.
As well as, is he going to be able to? Um, he needs to. If you're going to be the king of the North or the king of the division, I need you to stand on business, and that's been the biggest like enigma right now. Like, what can he do? Now, when I look at the conference, like I see, I do see some up and comings because I do think that with Justin Fields, in the Jets, with their new coach that they got from Detroit,
Yep.
with Aaron Lewis.
Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, Aaron Glenn, my bad. I do see them being a threat. May over there with the Pats, he's starting to look good. The Dolphins, I just see them at the bottom. Like I don't have a lot of faith in Tua. And like last year, they were like really gentle with him, especially
Very.
after coming back after a couple of TV.
Other team. You mean other
injuries.
teams were gentle with him?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Other teams, like when he came back from I think his second or third concussion, I was just talking about this with somebody today too. People were handling him with care on the field, and it showed. When he would slide or when somebody would go for the sack or something like that. It wasn't the normal like you got this big ass Mack truck in front of you that's about to hit you.
Agreed.
With that being said, I do see the Bills on top. I see them with another, like, I see them with another 12-5 season. 11-6. I do still see them in that realm. But we do have to look at Cook too, because
That's
he's
good point.
been, he's been kind of finicky and he's looking to restructure his contract too. But unlike other teams that we spoke about, I think that the Bills will be all right without him.
Yeah.
So I see, I still, I still see the Bills like running that
Oh
division.
yeah. Look, you hit on the head. The elite, they've been the elite team now that the Brady Belichick era is over. They've become that elite team in the division. I like what you said when it comes to the Jets. The Jets will more than likely, and I'm being kind here, uh, make a transition. Uh, all things going well. I love the way Aaron Glenn coaches. I love his in your face demeanor. Like he holds no cut cards when it comes to the players on the team. Just watching him yell at them from the sideline, where they're
Mhm.
supposed to be positionally, where they're at in the game. I think he's going to make a huge difference. It's really now on Justin Fields to really
Mhm.
take that next step. They're giving him all the tools. Garrett Wilson,
Right.
uh, Bryce in the backfield. Defensively, I think they're going to shock people. They may not be as good as people talked about and how they were 2 or 3 years ago, but I think they have a good enough defense to keep them in games, create turnovers for the offense. And then look at the rest of the division. You speak about Drake May. I'm sorry, he doesn't pass my eye test. I don't know what it is
Really?
about him. Yeah, I'm just being like, for me, he does
Okay.
not pass my eye test. This year, though, they giving him tools. I mean, you're getting a veteran in Stephon Diggs.
Hmm.
Ramondre Stevenson, he's still a beast. I think he's one of the most underrated running backs in the
Oh
game.
yeah.
He's not giving you 50, 60-yard runs, but he's giving you that first down. He's giving you hard runs. He plays hard. Defensively, though, I think to me that's the biggest question mark when I look at them outside of Drake May.
Yeah.
Um, I think they're going to be better than last year, but when I say better, I'm talking about maybe 6-11. I don't really, like I said, I just don't buy. I don't he doesn't do it for me, in the eye
Hmm.
test. And then we go to Miami. Man, I just don't want to see Tua get hit, and I mean this. I don't want to see him get hit, and because I think one more hit, his career's over. It's like really time
Yeah.
to pack it up and just remove him from football. But
Hmm.
when those guys are healthy and when they're clicking, we've seen video game numbers and video game action with Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and all the other cast of, A Chain coming out of the backfield. Like there's super talent there, and defensively, again, to me, they're strong in the middle. I think they could use some strength up front. It's
Yeah.
going to be an interesting year for them, but I kind of put them in that behind the Jets. I think the Jets can win 9 or 10 games this year if everything falls right. And I believe I put Miami at that 9-8. Again, I'm going to pray that Tua doesn't get hurt. Injuries could be a whole nother thing. But yeah, Buffalo by far cream of the crop in the AFC East.
Yeah.
And I don't think that changes. And it's really about what does uh quarterback do, when we get to the playoffs. Josh Allen, what does he do in the playoffs is really going to make the difference. Um, if we transition to the probably the weakest division in the AFC, where we have, the North, which at one time was one of the stronger divisions, is now probably the weakest. What do you see happening in the AFC North?
I don't know because you still got my question for the AFC North is going to be the Bengals. You got one of the highest or richest uh, offensive between your quarterback, your dog, and your two receivers with Jamar Chase and
Agreed. T.
man,
Higgins. T. Higgins.
yeah,
T.
Higgins,
Higgins.
Higgins.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do we do now? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And for me, and I've been saying this about a lot of teams, honestly, the biggest issue that the Bengals been having is defensively. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
That
Like
part.
Joe Cool and company could sit here and score, but the defense hasn't been able to stop anything. So is this going to
That's
be
it.
the year that
I don't see it.
is this going to be the year that the defense is actually going to sit here and step up? So, and I actually want them to. You know what I'm saying?
I would like them to.
Yeah, I think that they could sit here and take over because when we look at it, like their biggest competition, of course, is going to be Baltimore. You know what I'm
Without
saying?
question.
And there's been a lot of questions defensively on the Baltimore side too. So like we're kind of at that point that like if you're going to take over, it would be now. Browns got an everything issue because they just came over there and announced Joe Flacco as their QB1. But I still think that that's a carousel within itself because you got 4 quarterbacks. Well, 5 if we include one that they haven't got rid of yet that we won't mention. But you still have a 4 quarterback stable or situation that you got to deal with. And like, look, man, I love Mike Tomlin. You know what I'm saying? I think he's an outstanding coach. For the past 20 years, it feels like he's been keeping the Steelers afloat, especially when it comes like he has not had a losing season in the past 20 years. And but it's like it's going to get to the point that enough is enough. And honestly, even with DK Metcalf and my former bad man, Aaron Rodgers, like Aaron, like I just don't. I think there'll be a conversation, but I think the more we get into the season, the less we're going to end up talking about them in a positive light. Like I don't think that it's all or nothing right now, and it's obvious right there. But I think that this is going to bite Pittsburgh on the back end, like making that investment with him. So with that being said, damn, I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I know I gassed up Cincinnati pretty good, but I'm still gonna go with the Ravens winning that division. It's probably going to be another 11-6 season. Like I said, today offensively, I think they're fine because with Lamar and Derrick Henry, can't forget about him. He's just going to go straight juggernaut and run over people. You got Zay Flowers, so they got good offensive weapons. You know what I'm saying? I just still question. I really do question that defense. Bengals still hasn't done enough for me to be comfortable with saying that they could sit here and win that division. I think they invested too much offensively in their weapons, and that's the confidence that they have. But they still haven't done anything to answer any of the questions that they had defensively to have me in that talk of, maybe the playoffs, but not like a true contender. I could see them as far as like a wild card on one of those bottom seeds. Of course, they're going to be like a 6 or 7 seed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I see them squeezing their way in that way, but other than that, like, and they might have a really good season. They could have a plus 500 season. I just don't see them making it past. Making it past that.
Look, Sam is being very generous tonight, but I'm going to call it how I see it. Hey, Cincinnati, come here. Your defense sucks. You spend all of this money on Joe Cool. Your offense is going to score 40 points a game. But if the other team scores 41, you still lose. Nothing going to change. And what's sad about this is that not even 3 or 4 years ago, we were talking about Joe Cool in Cincinnati being that team. They were, they're going head to head with Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. They were dusting them off. They've done nothing. They're wasting probably one of the best quarterback talents that we have seen in recent history. And we're going to call it in the recent NFL in the last 10 years. They're wasting his talent. This guy's putting up numbers upon numbers upon numbers. They're scoring 38, 39 points a game, and we're watching them lose because the other team is scoring 40. So until they get that right, you're being nice. There's no way in hell that Cincinnati even smells the playoffs because they haven't done a damn thing on defense. And
Yeah.
you and I both know it's not necessarily that in today's game, defense wins you championships, but defense gets you at the table. It gets you a
Yeah.
seat at the
Mhm.
table. And these guys, they're outside on the patio in the back, busting dishes. There's nothing changing in Cincinnati. It's not happening. It's all Baltimore's division to lose.
Yeah.
It's 12-5, 13-4. You know, Cincinnati, I'm being gracious with a 7-10 because I just don't see it. You know, we can go down the road, Pittsburgh and A. Ron. Look, this guy has been quarterbacking almost as long as I've been alive. That's a long time. This guy, he's like Russell Wilson. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
That glimmer and that shine on the car has now come off. You've got
Yes.
stains on the seats from the kids in the back. You
Mhm.
got rips in your car from the dog. Like it's over.
Wiping the hood off with mop and glove to
Yeah.
make it shine.
Right. It's over. So let's not. And I'm gonna agree with you. Look, I love Mike Tomlin. This man has made magic for a very long time. But I do believe, unfortunately, there does come a time when players just fall deaf on coaches' words, right? They don't react the same way. These are, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of the pieces that they brought into me are not Steeler type players. They are
Right.
plug and play type
Yeah,
players,
they're
but they're not Steelers. They're fillers, right?
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
Steelers. So I think that's part of the problem, and I don't see them going far. And then hell, Joe Flacco's he's older than I am, and this guy, he's your starting quarterback. Cleveland, get your shit together, okay?
Yeah.
We say this every year.
Mhm.
I mean, there's nothing coming out of Cleveland. There's no need in watching him until Shador plays or Shador gets traded. And we're
Mhm.
gonna keep that a buck. That man has made wine out of well water with the reps that he's gotten. You know, you can see the talent. I mean, you've got to be, no disrespect to Stevie Wonder, but you got to be Stevie Wonder not
Mhm.
to see this talent. And that whole organization has been a mess. It continues to be a mess. I just wish Shador the best and praying that he gets traded to a team that'll give him a better opportunity to showcase his talents to the rest of us and the rest of the world, because I think the brother is really talented. So that was my soapbox moment.
Okay.
If we transfer and transition
Mhm.
to let's go down to the AFC South, because again, this is another poor man's division, and there's not really a lot
Yeah.
going on in this division. And I
Yeah.
think there's one team that really
Yeah.
stands out, but I'm going to throw a surprise in there because I really think that Tennessee. I like Cam. I like what I see in Cam. I really do. I like what I see.
Okay. Okay.
It's not impressive in the sense of arm talent or just different things. You know how you just see some guys, and it was one of those things, like I'm going to be honest. It was kind of like CJ Stroud. Kind of caught
Mhm.
you out the blue. You thought he
Right.
was good, but you didn't really realize how good until you really started watching him play. Now, Tennessee doesn't have a lot of talent, but I think this kid is going to win them some games just off of gumption and the fact that he doesn't like to lose. To me, he just
Okay.
has this it thing, and I think they're going to be the surprise team coming out of the South. But I'm curious to hear what you had to say.
I mean, you said that, and I had to go over here and I had to look at their schedule. I mean, actually, nah, man.
They'll be better than Jacksonville and Indianapolis. I'll
Yes,
bet
I
money
will
on
say
that.
that, but I still see maybe like, maybe 7-10. That I mean, just looking at their schedule.
So you see what I see, because that's where I was going.
Yeah.
I was going 7-10, 8-9.
Yeah, 7-10. I see them. Yeah, I see them going 7-10. I do see.
Okay.
I do see Cam having a good season, but he's kind of in that spot that, and this is what we were talking about before. Just a minute ago, we were talking about Jason Dart. You know, we don't want to throw him to the fire, and here we are with Cam, and he don't have a choice because
he has no choice.
Don't have nobody else. I mean, let's just
You are the Rolls Royce.
The only other person that they had was Will Levis, and he ended up getting like he's done for the season. You know what I'm saying? Like he did one practice rep, and next thing you know, he gone. So like all we have is Cam now. So this is the Texas conference to lose.
Without question. Without question.
We would talk about the Colts, and they have a QB crisis right now because
Well, actually, no, they
they're
fixed it.
like, huh?
They fixed it.
Did
Danny Dimes was officially named QB1.
Oh, well,
Good luck with that.
okay, so as I was saying, there's a QB crisis in Indy. So like we're looking at and we don't know if our good Trevor Sunshine Lawrence.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't that bum. Don't say it. Don't say
just
it.
Know. No. Hey, look, these are all negative vibes right now. Hold on, like we don't know the type of what's going on, Pat. We just don't know the type of season that what's going to happen with the Jaguars, right?
Right.
I'm more concerned about having a two-way player because it's seldom that like it was cute in college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like look, I want Travis Hunter to be successful.
So
but I just don't see him. He's going to be utilized. There's going to be some offensive plays that he's going to be a part of. But for him to say that I want to run both sides of like at you did it at a collegiate level and your body and that takes a toll on you. Now you're talking about the NFL.
That's what I'm talking about.
And we hit
that's
harder.
What I'm talking about.
Like fam, come on. Like I get it. You know what I'm saying? And I get that he's young too, but I don't want 3 years, and I'm being lenient at that.
Yeah,
I don't want 3 years to sit here and roll by. And now we have these injuries because he's been playing both sides of the field, or he gets cracked one good time because, like, if I'm keeping it funky, he still don't know how to run routes.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm more like. Even in preseason, he looked more of a liability to me because it's going to be one time that he's going to get blindsided and he's going to be laying down. Like I don't want that to happen for him. So like I understand if I have like some 4th and 1s or some 3rd and shorts, you know what I'm saying? That I can sit here and invest in his hand. But he doesn't need to be running 2 ways. And like I said, there's still a QB issue in Jacksonville. So something needs to go. Something needs to happen with Trevor. So
Lawrence.
It's the Texans. It's the Texans all the way. And looking here at their schedule, like, I mean, they're gonna be on top, man. I mean, you got 6 wins within your division.
Exactly.
You're gonna play Cardinals in there. Raiders got a crisis going on. I mean, you do have the Chargers, who I feel should be running the AFC West.
We're going to talk about that. I agree.
Yeah, you have the Niners, you have the Ravens. You do have, like, some juggernauts that you're looking at, but, like, honestly, going through their strength of schedule right now, this shit look light as hell. So there shouldn't be no reason the Texans not to sit here and have, like, a damn 14-3 season just based off the strength of schedule alone. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 13-4 or something like that. But like their schedule is like easy.
So
really
you and I are on the same page. I'm looking at them at 12-4. I mean 12-5, 13-4 type thing. Just because of the division alone. Like I said, I did the same thing. I'm like, you got 6 wins already. Just chalk it up in your division. So you're almost halfway there.
Yeah.
And looking at the rest of the schedule, it didn't look too difficult. And then, like you said, Trevor Lawrence experience, time to go ahead and blow that up. Let's get rid of this guy, get the trash out of Jacksonville. I don't know, what the hell they were thinking in Indy by bringing in Danny Dimes. I don't know. Did they not see the film? Like, hello. Just because he hit on the bench for a month and a half in Minnesota, they didn't make him better.
He was all that was out there.
Listen, you could have. Jesus, criminy! You could have won this.
The free agent market was slim. The free agent market was slim.
I mean, shit.
They would. Hey, look, they would
Somebody.
have been better. They would have been better off picking up somebody in the draft, but then that would have also been a slap in the face for Anthony Richardson. You know what I'm
He
saying?
listen. So I'm not going to call Anthony Richardson a bum, but
He
he
has
was
bum
very
tendencies,
well. So look, shit. I can't even argue. So I can't even argue with you on that. Can't even argue with you on that. You 100% right. You know, to take me out, coach, and all that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but if I'm being honest, like he had a very limited college career. You know, we're only
right.
talking about one season, 12 games.
Yeah,
Now, does he have? You know, when I look at him, he's and I don't want and this is I don't want this to get construed. He's Cam Newton esque and
right.
physicality, size. He does have a cannon for an arm, but we never saw a complete picture over more than 1 year. And I think it's like you fall in love with the Ferrari, but it's got a Yugo engine, and unfortunately, that's Anthony Richardson. He does,
Bro,
and
I'm,
I
I'm
and
mad that I'm mad that you said you go, fam. Like,
look, and for those you I'm showing my age, but if you don't know, go Google it and you tell me what you think. But I mean, that's what he's not a Ferrari. He's not that guy. And if
right.
I'm going to be honest, and I don't want this to be a knock, and I don't want this to be taken out of context. I just don't think he's a student of the game. He
No.
doesn't strike me as a guy that can sit down, look at tape, and break down what defenses are throwing at him. He's kind of repetitive in his response. You know,
Mm,
he so I think that's just been a nightmare. Move on from him. And I think it's a money issue also. I mean, they paid Danny Dimes $14 million or somewhere close to that on a 1 year deal. So it's not that I think Anthony Richardson is over, but I think it's going to be a thing as Danny Dimes either gets hurt or does what Danny Dimes does and poops his pants, and they have to make the switch. But it doesn't make Indy any better throughout the course of the year. And I'm going to agree with you. This is Houston's division to lose outright. Uh,
right.
and it's got to be a catastrophe for that to happen.
Oh
And
yeah.
you brought up a great point about a team in the final division that we're going to talk about this evening, AFC West. And I
Yes.
want to turn it over to you because I like what you said, because I think you and I are agreeing. We didn't talk much about this, but I like what you said because I think this division this year for Kansas City is going to be a lot tighter and a
Hmm.
lot more competitive
Yeah.
than in past years. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts and your take on the AFC West.
Whew. Well, first off, I think that this is going to be the year that finally, I think the luck of the
Mm,
Chiefs are going to
I
run
like
out
that.
this year.
I like that.
You
I
know
like
what I'm
that.
saying? I think the storytelling spree, as far as them, it was all the hype about them three-peated and everything. I think all of that's coming to a close, as well as like, yeah, I mean, offensively, you still got, Pat Mahomes, who, I mean, he's an elite quarterback. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, but they still have issues on their O line that I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that they answered, as well as like their defense has been really questionable. And we talked about this last year. Like there were a lot of games that damn Kansas City played that
Yes,
they were
sir.
supposed to lose, but it
Yep.
was a fluke.
Yep.
It was a call. It was a flag that got thrown that didn't nobody see that nobody seen or something like that. Then somehow they get possession of the ball, and then it was all this glory about Pat Mahomes making this one last drive in the fourth quarter
Yeah.
with a
Yep.
minute and 47 seconds left. I think that time has expired.
I
Biggest reason
agree.
that I see that, and we could really be talking about the AFC West, like how we were just talking about the NFC North, as
True.
far as teams that we have too, because Broncos ain't no slouch, because them
No.
jokers were balling out of control last year with Bo Nix. And granted, Bo Nix is he was like an old ass
Super,
senior because he
super
was
senior.
yeah he went to Auburn, he went to goddamn Oregon, and then I think he ended up graduating at Phoenix or DeVry University or something like that just for an extra season. You know what I'm saying? So he was one of those super seniors we be talking about all the time. So he was poised to transition into into the NFL with that. And then let's not forget, like I said, Justin Herbert. Like I really
Yeah.
feel that the Chargers are going to be like a perennial threat. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say that they're going to sit here and win the AFC West. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I got confidence
Interesting.
in them with that. Like I see them going 12-5. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Okay.
And taking the AFC West, and I might be eating crow because I know we're gonna be doing
Nah.
some recaps and some follow-ups. But
No, but you
I think they're jank. I think with Coach Harbaugh, I think he's tired. You know what I'm saying? And I think that all that foreshadowing that we were doing, like
yeah.
I don't think anyone I don't think anyone's scared of the Chiefs anymore.
No,
You know what I'm
no more.
saying?
I agree.
Uh, and it showed last season. It showed with us actually seeing Patrick Mahomes
Mm-hmm.
getting sacked like 9 times in the game.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like the threats that he once had, like they ain't there. Like, you know, Travis Kelsey ain't the same, even though they got the other guy Moore or something like that.
More.
The
Yeah.
other
Mm-hmm.
he's been coming up because he's bigger and he's faster and he's younger. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But there's still a couple of questions that they have. You know, you got Pacheco, but you still have a couple of questions on the receiving line. I know that they have
Agreed.
Xavier Worthy and everything, but there's still questions as far as your receiving core too. And then defensively, like your secondary is still a mess. Like, let's just go ahead and be clear on that.
Let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So honestly, I see Kansas City like literally fighting for a playoff bid. Like I said, I don't think that luck that they had last year, they're not going to have that same luck this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it was a culture shock for them, especially like once they made it to the Super Bowl, because you saw how frustrated that they were when they were going up against Philly, when they were getting punched in the mouth. Like they didn't
Yeah.
even know they
Couldn't
bounced
respond
back,
to it.
but by that time it was too late. You
Too
know what I'm
late.
saying?
Yep.
They got smashed like real early. You know what I'm saying? And they
Yep.
just couldn't bounce back. And you can see it in the highlights and the commentary. You know when they were talking about the Super Bowl, how Pat Mahomes and them was sitting here bitching on the sidelines. They're like, "Yo, play the game, fam." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's
Right.
what you're here for.
Right.
So I
I look.
don't like I said, I think that shine that we've been talking about, that new car, like we're starting to see those scratches, and them things in it. So
Mhm.
like, you know what I'm saying? I think they done ski on that one. Now they still gonna have a winning season, you know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I
But
agree.
there's real concern within their division. Like I said, like I would have the Broncos over the Chiefs. And
So
that's just
look,
me. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
like I
So,
said, you and I didn't even talk about this. This was just on you and I on the blind, and I agree with you 300%. I actually have Kansas City this year as the third team in the division.
right.
Now,
Yeah,
where
me
we
too. Me too.
right,
Yep.
so but where we differ, I love what Harbaugh has done with LA. We saw it last year. We saw his blueprint like he did in San Francisco. Pound the ball, run game, run game, run game. He took a lot of pressure off Justin Herbert to just be a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's still, I think he's still a talented quarterback, but I think this year you're going to see more of a balance. But I know last year I was hard on Sean Payton and Bo
Mhm.
freaking Nick, super senior. Surprise, surprise. We are looking at New Orleans of the Rockies, with everything that he's putting down and putting in place. I have Denver actually winning the division this year
Oh
at,
wow.
at 11-7. I really,
Okay.
I like the blueprint, and the same thing with Harbaugh. I love the blueprint, because he's being true to who he is. I just
Right.
think Denver has a little bit more talent when I look at them, and I think Bo Nixon, and I'll be the first one to say because I talked about him. I talked about him like a dog last year. But I got to eat crow. He's definitely improved, and you watched him grow and improve throughout the season.
Mhm.
And when I look at them, they also, to me, they have a better number one wide receiver in Cortland Sutton. You got Patrick Surtain back there in your secondary, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and look, when I look at LA, everybody, Justin Herbert, he's not a bum. They got Bosa still out there. Denzel Perryman is still out there. Um, but I just don't think, until they kind of add more depth to that running game. I know what's his name? Is it Keenan Allen? He came back to LA,
Yeah.
but he's a little bit
Hmm.
older. I don't see the same. I don't see the same speed on the outside, and I
Mm.
think that's what bogs LA down as the
Okay.
season goes on. So to me,
Yeah.
that's where it's like a one game. It's really like a one game switch. Like I said, 11-7, 12-5. LA could be easy 10-7, 11-7. I think it's a one game switch, and then Kansas City kind of like you said, the luster is kind of falling off the apple. The luck
Right.
is gone. It's still going to be a winning season, maybe a 9-8, 10-7. But they're going to be the third team. And look, let's just go out there. Look, you're going to Vegas, don't go to a game. Just go pull the damn slots. Go
Yeah.
gamble. Because
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell is happening outside of and I want to be kind because I do like Ashton Genty, but I don't know what he was going to be running behind every week.
Which is true.
And I'm just, I just think everything about that screams below average. I like Gino, but I
Hmm.
don't know if we're going to get New York Gino out in LA. I don't know. Like everything about it, other than Ashton and Max Crosby on the defense, I don't see much.
Yeah.
So just go to Vegas, bet on black, and don't go to a game. Just leave the desert as the desert because they're terrible. And I got them coming in like out 4-12, 4-13, 5-12 type deal. I just don't see much coming from the desert with their changes.
Yeah. I mean, their old line is kind of fugazi, bro. Like, let's just keep it.
I don't even know. I don't
That
even
that
know.
that that is a very good observation right there. I mean, I couldn't agree more, but I see. I mean, the Raiders just gonna have to go through their growing pains this year.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, I don't think with damn, what's the coach?
Oh
Um,
yeah, uh, Pete Carroll.
yeah, Pete Carroll. I just don't see with Pete Carroll being back. Like, if that's going to be,
It's for the seats.
it's not going to be. Yeah, it's not going to be the impact that the organization is thinking that it's going to be.
No,
And if I was
not at
Tom
all.
Brady, I would really sit here and reconsider that. So
I think with if I'm going to be like Tom Brady, probably not wanting to be a loser and not being a loser, from his NFL career.
mhm.
I think I do believe at some point there will be a switch or a change. They get more talented players in, they make
Mhm.
adjustments. I do think there will be a change in the desert. I just don't see it in the next year or two.
Yeah,
There's going to be a grind because you got to kind of blow up what's been there to build a new foundation.
yeah,
I think they're on the right path.
hmm,
The next step is you got to running back. You're going to have to get yourself a long term future quarterback. Gino, let's just be honest, he's a bridge guy. Uh, get you some additional players on the outside, some wide receivers. Set up your defense. Their secondary is definitely questionable. I think their front four, I won't say solid, but I think they're above average. Max Crosby and those guys up front. But they need to
yeah,
do some work on the back end. But it's a work in progress. But like I said, right now is not the time to go watch a game in Vegas. Hit the craps, go to the
yeah.
slots,
Play the slots.
blackjack. Yeah, dude, anything but watch a
Go
Raiders
down to
game. Just
Fremont.
yeah, dude, anything but watch a Raiders game. Anything. So, but that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, as we dive back in 4 feet deep, both our feet and 20 toes, for tonight's Two Mics Up Tuesday Blitz. I want to thank you all for joining in. But before we go, Sam, uh, what's going on? Where can people find you? What you got coming up next? If anybody want to catch you online or doing your thing, let them know.
Well, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Old Sarge Gaming. That's what I go by. Like I said, new Twitch. I'm launching that in the upcoming weeks. I said next month, but shit, next month is right around the corner. Um, if you want to sit there and game with me, I mean, Gears of War remastered or reloaded remaster, one of the two. That's getting ready to come out next week, so I'll probably end up streaming that for a little bit. If you want to run with me, let me know. Of course, we got Battlefield 6 to be looking forward to. Borderlands come out in September. So I'm looking for a 4-man squad to run that with. So if you don't mind being on the camera and use minimum profanity, try to run with me. Uh, hey, look, I'm gonna be starting early, so I'm not trying to sit here and get demonetized like early in the game. You know what I'm saying? But like, look, if you want to make that run, let me know. I'm always down for Destiny. So if there's any Guardians out there right now, y'all hit me up. Like I said on Osarge Gaming. Quick shout out to my folks over there at Let Me Talk Podcast. I was with them yesterday doing a little wrestling trivia and everything. So I appreciate y'all being in the feed as far as Pat, Doug, Rim. It's good seeing y'all. Hey V, I see you too. So it was good for y'all. Thank y'all for the support. And like I said, we're looking forward to doing more collabs with y'all with sports and entertainment. So that's going to come down the pipeline too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Could not have said it any better. And like I said, I'm gonna throw this up here for you all. Get behind my man Sam. He's a veteran. He's a gamer. Low key chef. Let's keep it real. And just like you appreciate him, Ronell. We appreciate you too, my brother. Uh, Everyone that's joined us tonight. It's been great. I thank you all for being here. And before we go, I just want to, just drop something. Okay. Uh, okay. Best viewers on streambo.com. Remove the space. Okay. Uh, hey, look. I got something else here we gonna have to dive into and add to the book. But I want to leave you all with something really quick. We've been talking about tonight. Tonight was about dreams of glory. And before we close, I just want to say, you know, we all carry dreams of glory, family, right? So for some of us, it could be, the roar of the crowd under the Friday night lights, the grind on the field, maybe the touchdown that seals your name in the record books. But for others, it's simply waking up every morning with a vision in your heart, whether it be a business you want to build, a legacy you want to leave, or maybe a better tomorrow for your children. Football teaches us that, the road to glory really is not that smooth. It's really tough as hell. It's the sweat, the pain, the discipline, and really the heart that you have, as an athlete and a competitor. And the same goes for life. Life plays by similar rules. You get knocked down, you'll doubt yourself, but glory, and when I say glory, I'm talking about true glory, belongs to those who refuse to quit. So believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and never give up, even when others can't see what you see. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to put a pin in it. Like we do at the end of each and every show. And actually, before I go, for those of you in the DMV area here in the northern Woodbridge area, I'm just gonna go out on a limb this weekend. I know a lot of people got family and different things going on. We're gonna get a quick get together, for the Ravens and the Commodores. I mean the Commanders, who are going to be playing this Saturday. We're gonna be having a little fun, friends and football at the Bungalow Ale House in Woodbridge, Virginia. Come on down, come rep your squad. They got plenty of TVs, so I'm pretty sure the games will be on. But this game starts at 12 noon on Saturday. So come on down, come hang out with me. I'll be the guy in the Blue Giants jersey. So come on back. They got darts, pool tables, beer, food. Just come on down, say hi. Let's connect. Let's get this movement started. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna leave you all with the same thing I leave you with at the end of each and every show. May you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.